2 lives.
No parent should ever have to bury a child.
Forever connected.
If you made him mad, he snapped his temper. He snapped real fast.
By an unthinkable crime.
I'll learn from this and make this a better community and a safer community.
Tonight, the end of a long, stressful, emotional week for Austin and the University of Texas community with an arrest in the murder of Hadika Weiser.
Mikhail Kreiner, he was reported as a runaway just 2 weeks ago. Police say he'd been living in an abandoned building and tried to burn items stolen from Hadika hours after she was killed.
Today's news brought some relief after days of fear about a possible killer on the UT campus.
But at this morning's announcement, security concerns were still top of mind.
So I want to thank the people of Austin for all the tips that have come in that really made this case break so early on.
A thank you, and then a promise today to create change where it's needed.
This tragic incident has us redoubling our efforts, working with our law enforcement partners, moving forward to find out are there areas that we can improve upon.
UT Police Chief David Carter says his department is working with the Texas Department of Public Safety to conduct a safety review of the campus.
And we will take this as an occasion to do as Haruka's parents asked us to do, learn from this and make this a better community and a safer community.
UT Austin President Greg Fenves says extra patrols from UTPD, Austin Police, and DPS troopers will continue for the time being. Also happening on campus, a dance performance Hadika Weiser would have been helping with tonight.
Those close to Hadika danced in her memory. It was nearly a full house tonight, and it was all dedicated to her, a young woman who had such a bright future on that stage.
In hard times, furious dancing is required.
And tonight, that's what they did.
It was undeniable that she was a brilliant dancer. And she's going to be deeply, deeply missed. I'm going to miss seeing her in the front of that class, being the consummate BFA dance student and just a natural leader to her classmates.
Avoy left after Haruka was found dead just feet away from the place where she danced.
On Monday morning, when the students first alerted me to her being missing, it became probably one of the worst weeks of my life.
There have been many new developments in the UT campus killing case today, and we are tracking them all for you now on our website. You can find a timeline of the investigation starting from the time Hadika left the drama building Sunday night. Just follow the links on the front page of KXAN.com.
Police say this homeless 17-year-old killed Hadika Weiser.
We are very certain that the subject we have in custody is the suspect responsible for the death of this beautiful young woman.
But after a long list of complaints about Austin's homeless population, we ask what's being done to prevent another tragedy.
Kreiner is in the Travis County Jail tonight, charged with murder.
Bond is set at $1 million, and according to court documents, surveillance video of the suspect shows a lot more than police released to the public. They say it shows this man look at a woman on her cell phone.
At 9:30, Hadika Weiser calls her friend, letting her know she was on her way back to her dorm room from the drama building. Less than 10 minutes later, police say surveillance cameras show the same suspect and a woman wearing clothing matching Hadika's walking by him while she looks at her phone. The video shows the suspect leave the bicycle, reach into his pants, and pull out a shiny, rigid object. The suspect follows her across the bridge at Waller Creek behind the UT Alumni Center. He's next seen 2 hours later on surveillance video at 11:47 on the north side of Memorial Stadium, this time with a noticeable limp and carrying a second bag. 9 hours later, at around 8:20 Monday morning, Austin firefighters respond to a call on Medical Arts just north of campus.
First, we heard the sirens. It was coming out from under the eaves.
Mikhail Kreiner is found burning items at an abandoned building. He's homeless. Firefighters take the bicycle for safekeeping. It would not be until days later, after the missing person report, after her body is found, after police release the surveillance images. When the caller from the fire, firefighters, and responding police connect the dots, leading to the arrest of Kreiner and finally linking him to Hanukkah Weiser.
And that murder warrant was filed this afternoon for Mikhail Kreiner. He is in the Travis County Jail. But ironically, on Monday, when he was picked up for burning items, he was not brought to jail. Rather, he was taken to a place where they thought they could get him some help. Sometimes instead of handcuffs, fingerprints, and juvenile detention, police instead look to LifeWorks.
When they find a runaway, we can admit them into the shelter until we work with the appropriate community resources and agencies.
Executive Director Susan McDowell says for kids who are homeless, runaways, or struggling, their 20-bed shelter helps put them back on the right path. And that's exactly what they plan to do with Mikhail Kreiner initially.
That's what everybody thought was going on in this case. Monday morning, he was brought to our to LifeWorks.
At that time, he was just a teenager with a history of foster care who'd been caught burning items in an abandoned building. Home to a lot of homeless people, especially in this area, according to others in the business park. You can see the sleeping bag down there. Now, on Monday morning, there were items on fire inside this abandoned building. It did not seem like a big deal at the time. However, just 3 days later, the items and the teenager found inside became a part of a murder case.
We've just learned a key piece of information in the timeline of events that led up to the murder of UT student Hanukkah Weiser.
KXAN's Phil Prazen is in Killeen tonight, where we have confirmed the suspect in her death lived up until just recently.
Two students and a faculty member tell me Mikhail Kreiner was a student here at Ellison High School in Killeen until about 2 weeks ago. And police here tell KXAN that somebody filed a missing persons report on March 24th. We do know Kreiner was in the state's foster care system, and standard protocol is for a caseworker to notify local authorities when someone goes missing. 10 days after he was reported missing, police say he attacked the student on UT Austin's campus.
And from Killeen, we have traced Kreiner's steps back even further to East Texas.
We know Kreiner spent time in Texarkana, about 350 miles northeast of Austin on the Texas-Arkansas border. A newspaper at the city's high school profiled the teenager back in 2014. In that, he talks about being raised by his grandmother after his mother left when he was in elementary school. The article says eventually he found himself in foster care, where he says he was a victim of physical violence.
Long before he was accused of murder, Mikhail Kreiner showed signs of trouble in this house in Texarkana.
I thought you were going to tell me that somebody done killed him. That's what I thought.
Mary Wadley is his grandmother and legal guardian. Kreiner told his high school newspaper in Texarkana he was a victim of abuse in the foster care system.
All I know, CPS supposed to been had him, because they say he wasn't 18 yet. If you made him mad, he snapped his temper. Snap real fast.
The foster care system in recent weeks has come under huge scrutiny by lawmakers and other leaders across Texas for things like having too many foster children actually spending the night in state offices because there's not enough foster homes right now. How could something like this crime really fuel any kind of change that's coming in the future?
I can only imagine that, big headlines like this, when you have the children in the system, a suspect in a homicide case, we expect there will be continuing scrutiny, and lawmakers will probably be demanding answers.
Police believe Kreiner may have become homeless quite recently. UT police say they have seen an increase in the homeless population around campus, specifically in West Campus. Students are expressing concerns about safety. And we found UT police handled 92 cases of criminal trespassing last year. Some recent cases include non-students sleeping in university buildings. Earlier this year, the student government passed a resolution asking students and the university to help address homelessness.
As we've been reporting, Hanukkah Weiser's body was found near a wooded section of Waller Creek that runs through the UT campus. But that's just a small piece of a waterway that's a significant part of Austin's history.
The current state of the creek here downtown is a far cry from that ideal. I'll be honest, it smells like a toilet down here, even on the stairs coming down into the creek bed. There's litter everywhere, covering the limestone. This is not some place I'd want to bring my family on a Sunday stroll.
You okay? In 2013, KXAN followed APD foot patrol officers into Waller Creek. More recently, we obtained police reports accusing people of doing illegal drugs and behaving lewdly in Waller Creek. Not an easy relationship for Creekside business owners.
There's definitely hope. I think that the Waller Creek Conservancy does a great job. They're really passionate people, and I think they have their head in the right place. It's just finding the money and being able to allocate those funds properly.
Visible change began late last year year when engineers completed a 1.5-mile long tunnel. Its job to redirect occasional floodwaters from the historic creek.